Today on Get Rich Detailing. You want to start it or no? All right.
All right, now I got it. What's the topic? What's the topic?
Why detailers are not scaling in
Wait,
the
I'm going to
industry.
say the title and you can start and I'll flow.
Type shit.
Today on Get Rich Detailing Today on Get Rich Detailing podcast, we are going to go over why majority of detailers fail.
Now, the reason that we chose this topic, obviously, is because we are Get Rich Detailing, and the entire point of our account is to help you get to the next level.
Get rich while detailing.
Exactly. So, I'm going to put the first thing out there. I think detailers have the focuses that they put on in their business are crooked. The first thing I'm going to say is that detailers would rather have a $40,000 setup than have $40,000 coming in monthly. What do you think about that?
All right, so people get the setups, and people are under the impression, which is understanding, when you have Instagram and you have the TikTok, you could easily be influenced, fine. And people are under the impression that the setups and the products and the TikToks and the delegating the ads and the employees and all this crazy stuff is going to make you instant money and make you a successful business owner, which is...
Or honestly, to an extent, I feel like they almost don't even care about the success. Seriously, like I honestly think that they like to be like, hey buddy, like look at my van on some shit.
Yeah, but it's understanding because from the third person perspective, more or less, when you're not doing the business because you have employees doing it, and when you're not running the ads because you have somebody else doing it, and when you have the coolest setup in your city, you feel like a business owner. I mean, you're keeping your employees in business, you're keeping the product companies in business, you're keeping the ad agencies in business, and you feel like a business owner that's got it going on. Although delegating the ads and getting the employees and maybe having a cool setup is fine down the road, I mean, when you're first starting off your business, doing all this stuff is absolutely crazy work. I talk to people and they're making $2,000 a month, but they have a $30,000, $40,000 loan on a van to pay back $60,000 or $70,000 in the future. That van's not even going to be working by the time you pay off that $70,000 van. And at the end of the day, they have maybe not even a book schedule. They have a week's worth of work. They maybe do one here, one there, whatever the case is, 4 or 5 different jobs on the schedule, and you have an employee.
I guess that's another point to mention. Then I would say financial literacy, money management. You're more than willing to go and grab a loan. And trust me, I've had my experience with loans, but you're more than willing to go and grab a loan and just I just need a loan to get the business going, or I need a loan for a van, or I need a loan to get in a shop. And, if you're not able to come up with that money by yourself, 99% of the time, you probably shouldn't even have access to that money. And that's a lesson that we had to learn as well, that a lot of the time you don't have the money that you don't have for a reason. It's really, I'm not going to say it's like a timing, like on some, it's God's timing stuff. But if you were mature enough and if you had, managed your finances properly prior to you being exactly where you are now, then you probably would have the money to do, whatever you're looking to do. So,
and it's really easy to say because what's weird about the detailing industry is that money comes and goes so fast. So when you know that on your schedule, say tomorrow you have 3 jobs, one's $350, then you have a slap-on coating that's $500, then you have this and that. Money's coming and going fast. So then within your mind, you're like, oh, well, my products are only $400 a month, and then my van payment's only $900 a month, and then my insurance is this a month, and then this is this a month. It seems like little payments because the money's coming and going.
Adds up, though.
At the end of the day, whenever you were to put your money into, say, a cheaper setup or cheaper products, rather than you keeping all these other things in business and paying out all this stuff, this is going to go to you. This is what makes you a successful business owner. The appearance and none of that stuff matters. You want to be a successful business owner, and how you do this is maximizing your profit and cutting all of the costs. So if you're a business owner and you have your business and you're at the early stages, really take into consideration and look on your current operation and see what it is you're paying out, what it is you own, what is it you want to invest in, what is it that is really going to keep your business alive long term and make you a lot of money.
I'll tell you what, the second that you make money, you want to look at so let's say I just got my first detailing job ever. Let's say the job was $150 detailing job, first job ever. I'm super stoked. The first thing that I'm going to do after getting that $150 job, after I get paid, is I'm going to see what this $150 costs me. That is how business owners look at things. Everything in life is a trade. Every single thing in life is a trade. If you want something from someone, from something, they're either going to ask you for time, they're going to ask you for a favor back, they're going to ask you for money. When you go to a job and you work for them, it's a trade. You're trading your time for money. There's a lot of instances where people trade different things for different things. But anyways, here's my point. If you're going to trade $150 essentially for your time and effort, you also need to see what else that costs you. How much did it cost in product? How much did it cost to get where you were going? How much did it cost in ad spend? So a lot of people are saying they're completely overestimating their margins because they're saying, I did a $600, let's say you did a $600 slap on today, and this was from a meta lead, whatever, and the meta lead only cost me $10, so it's $5.90 profit. That's not true. That is actually not true. Now, I might commend you for at least putting the meta cost in there. You tried, but the real cost of the meta is the total cost. So if you spent $200 on meta this week, and you landed one job from that, but the cost for that lead was $10, the actual cost for that lead was $200.
And let's also take into consideration the matter of the fact that you're using the System X or the Ceramic Pro, which is $250 in itself. So you're $450 deep into a $500-$600.
We haven't talked about product. We haven't talked about travel. We haven't talked about all the monthly subscriptions. You know how many monthly subscriptions you have as a business owner? Whether that's for like banking, bookkeeping, QuickBooks, your CRM, wherever you process invoices. There's a lot of different ways that things are set up, but you have small monthly things that are just chipping away, being paid, your website domain on a yearly basis. There's all stuff that needs to be factored in. So you told me first that you do $600 jobs for $5.90 profit, and realistic, you do $600 jobs for $10 in profit, if you're even profiting at all. And it's an easy way to go out of business, not understanding like what is coming in versus going out. I think that's a really, really big point.
So if you're going to have the money coming in and you want to spend your money, some business owners are a spender. Some people want to really expedite the process, go, set up this, set up that. But majority of the people invest in appearance, and majority of the people invest in just ignorant financial stuff within your business. If you're going to spend your money as a business owner, make sure that spending the money you spend has a trade-off in the return of the money coming in. Yeah. So what I mean by this is if you have at the end of the month's done, you pay out your employees, you pay out your expenses. If you have $2,000 left over to yourself at the end of the month and you are looking to spend this money back into your business, which is understanding, because as a business owner, you do have to reinvest into your business. I'm not saying don't reinvest into your business. I'm saying have a clear understanding of where your money is going and make sure it's actually beneficial on your behalf and money is coming from it. So if you have the $2,000 to spend, see where you could put this $2,000 that is going to make you more than $2,000. So whether this $2,000 is into meta ads and you're getting your campaigns ran properly and you're looking to get further leads and you're looking to get more of those slap-ons and you're looking to do this and that, and then all these leads are crazy coming in, and then you still have more money left over because now you're profiting, then maybe consider investing in a smart, financially affordable setup and then get new employees and stuff like that. Just make sure, what I'm trying to say is the money that you get, make sure that you're trading it for more money. You don't want to spend money and lose money. You want to spend money and obviously make additional money.
So what just caught my ear out of the many things that you just said, which were all true, is when you said your meta ads being ran properly. Now, I know almost every single person in the industry, in business, everyone dips their foot into things. Everybody dips their foot in the pool. You always like get a little curious and you try things and you put a little $10 on meta ads one time and then it didn't get you anything and then you just quit. Obviously, there are people who do this thing full time. There are people who have lots and lots of experience and lots of understanding on how advertising works and how to actually do it. How long does it take to get results? How do I target? How do I do this? How do I do that? Which is a whole nother conversation within itself. But we've came across so many business owners where I say, how much are you doing per month? Doing $2,000 per month. Okay. What's stopping you from doing more than $2,000 per month? I mean, that's pretty low. How are you getting clients right now? It's all word of mouth. Why aren't you advertising? Well, I tried advertising one time and I spent $40 on it. I didn't get any leads, so I quit. I've heard this same story, I promise you, over 200 times. Same story, copy and paste. I put a little bit of money on it one time, didn't know. Well, you literally did. You had no idea what you were doing. You didn't ask anybody for help. You didn't get any direction here. You didn't get it from a professional. So what did you expect throwing a little money like out in the open, and you expected to get some type of crazy return on it. So with that being said, if you guys are going to spend money on advertising, highly suggest somebody who knows what they're doing, such as ourselves. Not only somebody who knows what they're doing, but is in the industry as well. You're having guys who run ads for roofers and plumbing and so many different companies, and all businesses are catered to a certain thing. So it's really hard for a guy who's used to marketing for roofers to market for a detailing business, even though ads are the same. What the customers actually want to see is completely different. So that's what I want to
So
mention.
one common story and reoccurring, I guess you could say, event that happens with many of you guys, which is completely understanding. And I'm going to use a quick example. Say that there's a dog, and unfortunately, maybe the dog had gotten mistreated, abused, or whatever the case is. The dog, every single time it gets maybe around a male, if the male is who abused it, the dog is going to be scared of the male. The dog is going to be fearful. He's going to be skittish. He might not act the same. So something that happens with a good majority of detailers, which I've experienced in stories and working with some other people, is in the past, they will deal with, say, an ad agency, or they will deal with maybe another, I guess you could say, course or program seller. And what happens is the ad agency would charge you $1,000 up front, and then they will charge you $750 monthly, or whatever the case is. And they didn't get the results that you wanted. They underperformed. You were spending more than you were getting in. You couldn't close the leads, whatever the case is. So now within your mind, you have this complete misconception that ad agencies are bad. Ad agencies suck. Ad agencies are a lie. Ad agencies are a scam. And then vice versa for the core sellers. This guy took my money. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. Blah, blah, blah. And now you have a misconception that every core seller is not beneficial. Every ad agency cannot perform well. Which, although in some case scenarios is completely true, there are people who are knowledgeable of information to give you that is beneficial you can implement. In addition, there are people who actually work within the ads for your business, within their industry, and are getting real proven results and are working with other people that would be beneficial to your business. So what I'm saying is, if you have any fear or you've had any past bad experience, I ask that you let it go, and I ask that you do further knowledge of maybe who it is you're working with or what it is you're considering getting into, and see if it actually is beneficial, see if other people have better experiences, and then maybe go from there. Don't hold your guard up too high, and don't disregard things because of some past experiences.
You got to understand that getting burnt, failing, being scammed, just getting screwed over, people not considering you, these things happen everywhere in life, no matter what life you're living. As a CEO of a company, I probably have been fucked over, excuse my language, I've probably been fucked over, screwed, underconsidered, just completely thrown in the dirt more than anybody else. And that's just a way of life. Now, like Kaden said, you can't just rule it as a thing like in the dog's case where all humans are bad, or in your case where all ad agencies are bad, or all educational programs are bad, because that is simply not true. This is something that we see copy and paste everywhere. As men, we deal with women, and you come across women who I don't even got to get into that. You come across women who are definitely not the ideal woman that you want to deal with. But how are you now going to categorize all women are this way? I don't want women. Like, that's insane. That's not the way that the world works. And also ties into another topic that I was going to say is simply as a business owner, if you plan to be a true business owner and a successful business owner, you're going to learn how to be brave. Learn how to be brave, learn how to drop your nuts, learn how to make bold decisions and to stand firmly in your decisions regardless of how this goes. I'm the one who made the decision. And sometimes life is a gamble, whether you believe it or not. Life is truly a gamble, and there is nobody that could tell me any different, and it shows. But you have to stand firm in your decisions, and whether this goes good or whether this goes bad, I made the decision. Reason your decisions. Why did I make a decision to do this, or why would I make a decision to not do this, and stand on that. But once you choose to go forward with an agency, choose to go forward with a course, choose to go forward with a girl in your life, choose to go forward with adding new people to your life, whatever comes back from that, you have to be a man, be bold, and jump into it. And I'll tell you something else about that is the more that you try, the more you're actually going to be successful. Now that ties to business, may not tie to everything else. But when it comes to business, the more programs you try, you're eventually going to run into that program that is fucking killer and takes your business to the next level. The more ad agencies you try, you're going to run into ad agency that doesn't fuck off and takes their stuff very, very serious and is very punctual with every single thing they do and helps your ads blow up and helps you get fantastic leads in the door. So, I mean, this is not the type of industry, and business in general is just not the type of thing you can be scared in.
So one thing that's unfortunate about the detailing industry is the low startup costs and the actual skill in itself. As long as you have a clear understanding of what the end objective is, it's extremely easy. And with that being said, this industry is a very easy entry to entrepreneurship, or just a quick money grab for most, I guess you could say. So there's a lot of, I know people that are in middle school. Some people we work with are extremely young, 12, 13, 14 years old. And then there's the people in high school, and then there's the people in college. And then obviously there's the older people that do it. But my point is, this is extremely easy and entry level into entrepreneurship. And people see this more as a money grab than they do as a serious business. And as if you see it for a money grab, the money might be good, but you're going to cap out. You are not going to have the clear understanding for business, and you're going to peak at the 5, 6, 7, 8K, whatever the case is, when there's actually people out there who are doing it for the 20, 30, 40, 50 a month, whatever the case is, plus and so forth. And my point is with this, my apologies. My point is with this is, if you are the entry level entrepreneur and this is your first business venture and you have all this money coming in, just have a clear understanding that this is not the end. The business doesn't stop here. There's a lot more potential. But if you are fearful and you aren't brave and you're not courageous and you're not actually willing to maybe put forth the money or put forth the time or expand. I work with some people that are even fearful to get employees because they're going to ruin the business's reputation. Which, I mean, it happens and it's understanding. But if you want to go to the $50,000, $60,000 months,
You're gonna need employees.
You're gonna need to be fearful. You're gonna need to be courageous. You're gonna maybe need to detriment your business's reputation to get to that next level. So if you want to be the real successful business and take it to the next heights, my point is, you just need to have a clear understanding. Everything's not going to go as planned. You are going to lose some money. There are going to be financial and setbacks within your business, but just put your head down and move forward and understand where your end goal is.
And you know what? Business in general is very, it can easily be compared to almost building a brick house. Now, the reason that I'm going to use that analogy is because in order to build a house, right, I grab the brick, I get concrete, I dip it in the concrete, I set this, I grab another brick, I need concrete between the two, and I set that one. These are now two bricks that are firm, in ground, cannot be moved, cannot be separated. Now, what the detailers are doing, and you're going to understand what I'm saying in a second. Now, what detailers are doing is they're grabbing a brick, boom, put it there. They didn't put no cement on that. Grab a brick, boom, put it there. They put it crooked, didn't put it properly. Grab a brick, threw it there. Oh, and then they knocked all the bricks down. And then they grab another brick, they put it over there. And that's simply not how you build a house. Now, how I'm gonna compare this to your detailing business? Watch this. When you go and grab, let's say you just got a potential client. Let's say you get this client in the door. Let's say you perform the service on this client. This client is supposed to be part of the house that you are building for your detailing business. You're supposed to grab this client, do the service, make them extremely satisfied, and get an assurance that you are going to come back and this is going to be a recurring client. That way they pay you over a series of time, and this was not a one-time thing. This is not a one-night stand. You're looking for this to be a long-term relationship, so that when you grab new clients, eventually you realize as you're adding more and more bricks to that pile, like, holy shit, I have a house. And that's the exact way that our business is now designed, because we, no matter ads ran, and I know everybody, you know about our fleet game, and you know that we have the recurring revenue in fleets. But honestly speaking, even without fleets, I'm telling you, we cannot go under 40 grand a month. There's no possible way, because the phone doesn't stop ringing from people that we've satisfied in the past. But if you don't make sure that you satisfy those people in the past, they're not going to tell a friend, tell a cousin, tell a husband, tell a wife. And that house is not going to continue to build. You're literally just going to be stacking a brick one time, throwing that brick, starting a house over here, starting a house over there, and your detailing business never, ever gets to scale.
I mean, to keep it simple, if you are in this for the one night stand, and if you are in this for the money, and you don't actually have a real business plan set in stone, you don't have a long-term image for your business, and you have no clue what the end game or what the future of this is going to look like, more than likely you're going to fail.
Or even better than that, sorry to cut you off. if you do not know what you're doing and you're not getting help from somewhere and you're not changing things and you're not trying a new course or you're not trying a new marketing method or you're not trying a new business structure, I'm honestly, you are going to fail. You're going to fail. If you know what you're doing is not working, why would you not do something different? I think it's literally all that simple.
Like, I mean, all right, let me tell you something. So when we started this thing, whatever the case is, as time went on, it's taken years. It's been a lot of, I mean, to start, you could say we were grabbing the brick, no cement, grabbing the brick, no cement, sideways brick, blah, 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 house collapse. As of recently, we're actually placing it properly, being technical and making sense of it. But with that being said, as time went on, at the beginning of this whole entire thing, we had to learn a lot. We failed a lot. We put the bricks sloppily, whatever the case is. And I knew the information out there was accessible, but I was fearful. I was fearful. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to ask for help. I didn't want to go talk to business owners. I didn't want to converse with other people within the industry and see how they were doing and what they're doing that works. I figured it out on my own and failed time and time again, and finally have it halfway decent. I still obviously mess up every now and then, but I definitely have it mastered and cracked down to the point that most do not. So with that being said, I was fearful the whole entire time of the knowledge that other people had, and I didn't know that actual people could actually have the knowledge it would be beneficial to expedite this whole entire thing until, I mean, we had the upflip video, we got a lot of exposure, and then a lot of people started to come our way. And by then, at that point in time, I knew the information we had was special and not many people knew it. So we started to work with a series of people and apply our knowledge and apply our information. And when I tell you these people's businesses, what would have taken me maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 months, whatever the case is back then, people were doing in a month or two. People are implementing this information, these simple sentences or these simple documents or these simple just stuff that goes on within my business that took me long to understand, are implementing it within their business and are having a world of change. It took me maybe 7 or 8 months to land the first fleet. I worked with a guy less than 2 weeks ago, and he now has 2 fleets under his belt, and he's located in San Diego. So like something like that is just mind-boggling to me. Something that took me so long, other people are doing in a short amount of time just because I'm providing the information to them.
And what that made me think about is, the funny thing about information, right? So the educational space is big. There's a lot of guys in the educational space in many, many different industries. But the thing about it is, obviously, there's a lot of phonies in the educational industry. There's a lot of guys that are just kind of coming in and try to grab the money, and they don't really know what they're talking about, or they're Googling the stuff they're talking about. They don't even have a business on the education that they're giving to other people. But the point that I'm trying to make is, you may buy, let's say you purchase $3,000 in education somewhere. You purchase $3,000 in education. How would you feel if you purchased $3,000 in education and you got a 15-minute video from that? One 15-minute video. You may feel, some might say scammed. Some might feel like, this wasn't worth it. A 15-minute video, da-da-da-da. Now, I know that this is going to sound funny, but you might be surprised what somebody like us can tell you in 15 minutes. And I'm gonna play this out. I'm gonna play this out like a whole story, because I really want you to understand what I mean, right? Let's say you paid $3,000 for something from us, and I said, I understand what problem your business has. It's gonna cost $3,000 to fix it, right? I make a 15-minute video custom telling you exactly what the problem is and how it needs to be solved. Let's say your problem was that you didn't know how to get not one single fleet in the door. You couldn't get a fleet no matter what. You tried so many things, right? I made a 15-minute video. I did a whole analysis. You went through our business audit process. I did a whole analysis of your business. And then at the end of it, I said, okay, give me a little bit. I'm going to make you a video. I'm going to send it to you. It's going to be $3,000. You pay me the $3,000. I give you the 15-minute video. Inside of the 15-minute video, I exposed to you how we land fleets, how we keep the fleets recurring, where do we fly fleets, what's the best type of fleets to go after, what you're doing wrong with the fleets that you're going after, what proposal to use, what pitch to use, meetings that we have with fleets, how do we quote fleets, the whole 9 yards. From here, use the information that I put into a 15-minute video. You put this into play, and let's say, I'm not even going to overshoot it. Let's say within a month's time, you land 3 fleets. 3 fleets. Let's say you land 3 fleets. The fleets that we teach our guys to go after started around, let's say like around 50 vehicles or so. So if you land 3 fleets, around 50 vehicles or so, they're using you on a normal basis. You probably just guarantee yourself, I would say, around like $7,000 or $8,000 in revenue on a monthly basis. over 6 months of time, what would that be, $7,000 or $8,000?
A lot.
Let's go with 7 times 7, then you would be around 50 grand. You would be around 50 grand if you do it just a simple over 6 months time, what you put into place and what you got back from that fleet. So what you just did, remember earlier how we talked about trading, you traded me $3,000, I gave you back $50,000. You're up $47,000 from the trade that we made. So you have to understand, the whole point of that story is to understand that there's small things, small keys, small words. You might watch this entire video and there may be a sentence that stuck out. You change that immediately in your business and it increase your business's revenue by $10,000 monthly. So it's not about, and I will address that. I will say openly that there are programs out there and I've heard of the guys that have been in the Driven Elites, and I've heard of the guys that have been in what's that, After Car Guy or something. I've heard of the guys that have been in other programs, and all we've heard from them is that these guys, they flood us with information. Yeah, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of information. And, I sit there, I'm like, I heard you. You said that a lot. There's a lot of information. What did you get back from it? Like I learned a couple stuff like here and there, but no, I don't really know. So you purchased a bunch of information, hours and hours of information, but your business didn't grow from anything. But if I was to send you a custom 15-minute video of exactly what you need to do for your business, I promise you it would go to the moon. So it's not necessarily about you getting a load of information, but the right information is what is going to take you to the next step.
And his example was a fleet program, and I can promise you within our fleet program, it is far more than 15 minutes of information. And if you were to apply the information within your business, it would make a big difference. And with that being said, nowhere along the line was education and knowledge that you could implement and apply to your life was ever free. And if you want to date back hundreds of years or whatever the case is, whenever college first started, college is a form of program, is a form of education, is a form of course. They call it courses, they call it programs. They don't even try to hide it. Colleges are charging $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a semester, and you're doing however many semesters over the course of however many years, and people end up hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt. And with that being said, at the end of it, they might guarantee you a job over the course of however many years, and as time goes on, you might make the money that was invested back. But there are much better things in today's time than college that you could apply automatically into your specific niche that would be far beneficial. And there are many people out there who are providing information with whatever it is you're looking to do. And just an example of that is somebody that I look up to myself is Patrick David. He has an app called Connect, and he will charge you $15,000 for 15 minutes of his time. And on the phone, you talk to him for 15 minutes, and he charges you $15,000. Although that is a little crazy, I'm sure that within the 15-minute phone call, if I were to tell him prior my story start to finish, he could apply me with information that maybe right away it would not be worth $15,000 of my time. But if you want to go 10, 15, 20 years down the line, what he told me within that 15-minute phone call, I would be able to apply instantly within my life. And over the course of however many years, I promise you it would repay itself back and compound and much more.
What's actually funny about that is I paid Patrick David like $450 to have a conversation with him. And it was a changing conversation. It was a conversation I needed to have. It was like
at one point in time, the business was the best. We paid for information, a conversation with him. He provided us.
It was worth it, honestly.
He provided us with limited information at the time for what was our budget to spend with him. And as time went on, it was definitely worth it. So nowhere along the line has information and knowledge ever been free. And there are people willing to give it. Some people aren't the best at it. Others are far better. But I promise you, down the line, what you will invest will repay back and compound and so much more.
I'm going to make a closer.
Yeah.
I think it's probably like 18 minutes or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Just so that's a wrap up of the first episode.
So that is a minor summary of reasons why people do not scale inside of the detailing business. Some points to take back from this, obviously, is that you can't be scared inside of the detailing business. Be attentive, very attentive to your business. Watch your profit margins. Obviously, be careful who you trust, but
do not shoot too high to start. Understand where you're at. be very humble within your current position and make sure this business is worth it for you and not worth it for anybody else. Do what's comfortable in your situation, but do not be scared to take risks and move forward within your business.
So I hope this video benefited you guys a whole lot. I hope that you were entertained, but more than entertained, educated by this video. Things to note is that fleet program, the story that I told, was a little bit of satire at the beginning, obviously, but at the end of the day, that is something that we do on a repeat basis, is take guys from no fleets to a lot of fleets. And when I say a lot of fleets, I mean a lot of fleets. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to reach out to us. If one-on-one is something that you're interested in, feel free to reach out for us. Anything at all that you need, you can catch us on Get Rich Detailing, TikTok, Instagram. Shoot us a DM. Happy to talk to you.